Brian's just like, what the?
What's going on?
No. Here's the thing. You're talking about how you're going to bully me, but the reason I invited you both here is so that I can bully you.
Oh, okay. That's
while also talking about Quest Academy.
Read it. Mistakenly accepted the candy Brian was offering.
Yes. Yes. So
That's
what's the best way to describe this? Hello, everyone. I'm Brian J. Nordon, and I write Quest Academy. And I'm joined by two inconsequential people that I've decided to just pull in here with me and just, talk to. Because the last time I did a takeover, it was me staring into the ether, waiting for questions, and just not having anything to talk about. So this is a whole new way of doing this.
It's new and improved.
Mm-hmm.
And both Michael and Robert are very good friends of mine. And Robert had this idea a few seconds ago, before jumping into the live, of we should just bully Brian. And my initial reaction to that is putting Robert on the spot and asking him about codename Isekai and how he would tell, the world about the works that he is doing right now. So what is your elevator pitch to the masses?
Brian, I really appreciate that. But, I really want to come back to what's the core of this whole point of being here, which is really about
Grimwald Royce is the protagonist's name. So Royce is in a world called Eteria, I believe. Could you tell me more about what this is?
Absolutely. And I really want to think about what's the whole, the point of us all three being here, which is really to talk about Brian.
And Royce is his mother, I believe. And so how does Velspar and South Prow interact, as a territory or region?
I'm really glad you asked that, because since he's Irish, deflecting and invading and subversing other people's, desires is something that Mr. Nordon is very good at. So,
so when you chose the surname Royce, did you want something regal? Did you go for king? The Royce meaning king. I thought it Reginald, probably a bit too on the nose, and Ray a bit too Hispanic. Royce, why did you pick that one?
I don't know. Okay, here's the problem. I'm not super smart sometimes, and I listen to bad actors, and I'm sometimes influenced by the ne'er-do-wells of the industry, and you know where that goes. So I'm kind of being bullied. Michael, whose side are you on? Right, you're right next to the guy. You're cackling like a madman, which is not really helping our agreed upon cause.
Yeah, no, while it's also threatening us with 550 cord.
Anyway, so to answer your question, thank you. I am a new writer, and I'm working on a book. Well, actually, I've finished off the first draft. It's in dev editing. It's called Codename Isekai. It is about a CIA spy who finds himself in a different world, and by golly, the world's got magic and a system, and they're up to bad things. And so he's sent over there to figure out what the heck's going on. Long-term mission, it's kind of slow, and it's more about using your brain to get stuff done versus go in and start killing people.
This is the first time I've heard you say by golly and heck. And I don't like those words. No, it's in no, Royce kills things. Okay, so let's get this straight.
Fuck shit up. Sorry.
Yes. There we go. Yeah.
Sometimes having a mission can make you do things that don't seem very nice.
Yeah. And what has been the sort of key inspiration for you with Codename Isekai?
Oh my gosh. This is supposed to be about you, man.
I know.
This is not fair. Well, okay, my background, right? So I did spend some time in military intelligence, been around the world a number of times, been involved in a bunch of really cool stuff. So I was writing a story. I showed it to a couple of friends, Ben and yourself, and you're like, oh, this really sucks. Why are you writing this? And I was like, I thought I was going to write a good story. No, you dumb shit. Don't write this. So Brian basically put me in the back room and said, you come up with 5 ideas or you're not coming back out. So, so I'm like, all right. So I wrote down 5 ideas, and he's like, all right, now tell me about them. And so I did. And he's like, okay, now listening to yourself, which of those 5 excites you the most? And it was number
4.
Yep. And he's like, that's the one that I like. And that's where it came. It was the only one, wasn't it? It became quite self-evident. So, and what's hilarious is I met you just about 1 year ago.
Coming up to 1 year ago, and now you have a full book.
And now I got a full book, after 3 tries. But it's been really cool. And I think as much as I like to give you crap, it's people like you that made this like one of the funnest things I've done, which is great. Thank you, Brian.
This is why I brought you here, Robert.
Thank you, Brian.
So, Michael, you say nice things about me now.
You look really, really hot in a swimming suit.
Is that a Costa Rica kind of thing? Is that a Costa Rica reference there?
I really hope it is. Because that's the only time I've been wearing something like that around him. If it's not from Costa Rica, that's much scarier.
And it was the Marine Corps, Lars, Marine Corps. So oxygen are in full effect.
No, I meant like literally you looked very sweaty. Like it was really hot in Costa Rica several days.
Yes. I literally, I took over the hammock and it was magical. Okay.
No, it was
absolutely fantastic.
Yes. No, we had a great time in Costa Rica. It was a lot of fun.
And did you banish him to the hammock, or did he actually naturally go there?
No, we were fighting for the hammock.
Yeah, it was a friendly war.
Before you continue, Steve, I would just like to say that I am sorry for viciously attacking you throughout the entire con. Okay, I am sorry for everything I said, all of the expletives around your Irish accent, which is absolutely passable for an American audience. I am sorry for upsetting you. You are my second favorite narrator in the chat because mine arrived. I don't know.
Just now. Very quickly.
And we are complimenting me, Daniel Wisniewski, if you would like to come over and just say nice things. Yeah.
There's like a red button.
That's it. But yeah, no, like, so the one of the really, really fun things for me is that when the people I care about, the people that I enjoy spending time with and stuff like this, is that I add my friends in as characters into Quest Academy. So one of my favorite things is that that Sergeant Ted, when he was put into the story, the first thing I sent it over to Michael, being okay, so what do you think about the characterization, the tone, and everything like this? And he came back with one sentence. He's like, "Oh my God, thank God you wrote Sergeant correctly." And I'm like, okay. And what do you think of the character? Be like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. That'll do, pub.
You are fucking useless to me. Shut up, Lars. Anyway,
it's a good point.
Yeah. Lars, there was a reason that you weren't invited onto this, and
You
the
had
reason
common
was
sense. No.
Bartholomew Bowser, because you literally created Bowser in our D&D campaign to try and kill us all.
That's true.
You were a bastard old turtle.
He backstabbed y'all. I saw that.
Oh, that's very, very nice. But yeah, we're going to have an amazing Dragon Con next year, Daniel. But yeah, it's and I'm in the Candler this year, Robert.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Very nice.
What?
Very nice.
No, you don't need to know. You don't go to Dragon Con these days because you hate us.
It's our favorite hotel.
I might go this next year.
You should go.
We'll see. And I'm going to be a guest at Jordan Con.
Oh, that's cool.
I got accepted to be a
Robert Jordan's dead. Just saying, and dragons aren't real. So yeah, just saying. And thank you very much, Maria. I will forgive the fact that you called me Brain. Yeah, it happens. It's the first thing I always look for. I'm like, did they call me Brian or Brain? Because it feels like such an insult when someone calls me Brain, because I'm like, I'm a dumbass.
I thought it was just some Irish accent thing we weren't aware of. My name's Brain.
Yeah. Brian is my inspirational muse. You got off lucky. He asked for 83 ideas from me and hated all of them, and I said I sucked.
I wasn't the first.
Yeah. I'm not even going to deny it. Dream killer is a harsh word. I'm more like of a dream reconfigurer.
Yet accurate.
So, how do you navigate this? Is in there's waiting for Silver Savior's heart. Oh, amazing! Thank you, Kyle.
Hey, Brian. So here's a question for you. So you've been hard at work. You've launched book 3. That's up there, and you've been hard at work. And I have to say, for the first time ever, Brian's being actually consistent on putting chapters down on Patreon. Like literally, like if you look at his history, he's like all of the complaints. Oh, this guy's never gonna freaking post, right? I'm out. He's not posting. Oh, this author sucks at consistency. And suddenly Brian's being consistent. What changed? And like what can people see about book 4 over there on that Patreon, Mr. Nordon?
So money is a great motivator. Okay. Like it turns out that I was really inconsistent when I was earning $28. But now it's closer to $3,000 a month. And I'm there like, I should probably give them fucking chapters.
He's there
like, that'll do it.
to the story.
And some of the patrons are like, you're only like charging $3 for like, if someone joins with $3 right now, they get 60 chapters of Quest Academy. They're like, you should probably ask for more. And I'm like, maybe. Yeah, soon. We'll see. But like, I don't know. And people are like, hey, can I get a character? Like, can I throw money at you and make a character? I'm like, yes, let me come back to you. And it's been like 6 months.
I'm like, money.
I have not yet come back to you.
That's a Mr. Krabs quote from SpongeBob. I like money. I think it is.
But I do like money.
Who doesn't? But you have gotten really consistent. And has it made you actually, okay, I have to really do this? Has that actually helped? Or, is it just something you're doing and you have to struggle with it every week?
Yes and no. Like, it depends. Like, there's times like this. Sorry. Honestly, no deception. Brian is extraordinarily kind. He may tell you die in a fire 60+ times, but he's generous, will open his house to you, and will be awfully considerate.
He didn't open his house to me, and I was in Ireland, and he said, you stay out. You were not allowed in my house. I was there. I went to the flew all the way over there.
Hotel beside your hotel.
He did, only because he wanted to stalk me when he wouldn't let me into his house, which made me wonder. And like he was just in the whole what's in your browser history.
Are you opening this door? Are you opening this door? Because I will put my head through this door.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Head, look
who
down.
Had their hotel booked first? You were going there to meet your friend's family in Tipperary. And I said, I'll meet up with you.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, oh, should I come to your house? Oh, no, the furniture's not ready. It's on order.
It's still not
you
here.
Emptied your house of furniture before I showed up. Wow, that's
you got new furniture?
We don't talk anymore, Michael. See, there's so many updates. I have blue furniture eventually. I will have blue furniture.
But the green was so pretty. It went with your kitchen.
Yeeting it out. So, there's a whole new kitchen table and chairs and a green bench.
And couch.
Okay.
Couch.
At least so Chatfield tells me. I don't know. I've never been there.
Yeah. Ooh, Moonrise Towers. Were you able to save Isabel, Josh? Sorry. BG3. So, like, that can be a pain in the ass, that mission. It's just, Isabel is useless. She just runs into death. But what was I going to say? I know that Brian is
Why are people saying you're kind?
Yeah, but he also said
maybe
viciously.
they mean like a kind of.
Viciously kind. You know what? That's a great set of adjectives.
Viciously kind. So, but my favorite part of this is that, like, it's I could just keep my mouth shut and let you go off in the wrong direction, or I could be viciously kind and tell you what I think of your current story. So that's it.
Let's get back to Patreon and how you're suddenly being consistent. What's going on with book 4? Right, what's going on with book 4? Right.
Book 4 is the midpoint between semesters 1 and semesters 2. So everyone was making the jokes of like, oh my God, it takes them three books to do a semester. And I'm like, well, I also do a midpoint in between those semesters. So that's an extra book.
That's an extra book. And did you start out to like make it that slow, or is it just how it worked out when you started writing it?
Because I was worried about pacing, because I'm a pantser and I literally just make up everything as I'm going along. My fear was that I'm going to run out, I'm going to hit a wall and I'm not going to know what direction to go in. So I said, if I create an academy setting, then I'll be able to kind of like have a longer runway, because I'll know by semester what needs to happen. And I'm like, 1 year per book, amazing, so easy. And I'll be able to do year 1, 2, and 3, initial trilogy, and then move on to Sal and his friends as graduates, and people will be invested in them because of Quest Academy. And now we are 4 books in, and we're not even in semester 2. And I'm there staring at it going like, why am I like this? And people are it's an academy with quests. So, but yeah, it's like this is it. Like, I've no idea how this is going to go. Because if you look at it in the long term, people have made jokes being like, oh my god, it's going to be like 20 books long, and I'm there looking at them going like,
No.
potentially more if I can't get this under control.
If you guys only knew how much we make fun of him in private about how awful Brian is at pacing.
Oh my god. Did you see the review that was like, Brian's pacing? Like, it's just like it's way too fast. Brian's pacing is too fast.
Yeah, somebody said that. It was hilarious.
He's like skipping way too much, and I'm like, bitch, what do you want me to do? Like, I've given you a trilogy for a semester. Oh man,
it's terrible. So you didn't set out to do that, and then okay, let's talk about like the tower. Like, there's a tower in there, right? And that's, you pop that right on in there. You didn't wait until the summer. So did you do that to mix it up?
Wait, now when you say the tower, as in like for the end of the semester?
Yes.
Yeah, like that was a whole big thing. Like, I don't want to ruin it on anyone that hasn't read it, but that was a fun thing to do. But like, if you actually like break down my books, there's always been a kind of like crafting heavy for 100,000, 120,000 words, and then like Brian panics and being like, oh shit, he should probably fight or something, and then it's like tournament in book 1. Book 2, it's kind of like, oh man, we're going to craft so much cool shit. We're going to make a gun, we're going to make a visor, and then like 120,000 words in, I'm like, oh shit. As in, like, I should probably have some combat in here. And then it's like the excursion. Then for book 3, I'm like, oh man, we're going to work on so many fucking weaves. And I'm like 120,000 words in, I'm like, oh shit, the tower.
Right? Because you were talking about it, but it's exactly that.
And right now in book 4, I'm like, 120, 140,000 words. And like, it's all been like the gala, the Hunters Bureau gala. There's been like the auction house after party. There's been so much with the, the meeting with his family and stuff. And now it's going to be a lot of kind of dungeon runs with a love interest.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
So, which is very, very fun.
Yeah, that'll be
So,
okay, there's a question actually, Brian. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. Brian, your comment about Patreon was interesting. If monetizing on Patreon and also uploading to Royal Road, what lead time? I know the answer to that. Do you give to Patreon to reward your subscribers?
Well, it never goes to Royal Road, Tim.
Yeah. No.
So the lead time you have is if you want to read the book before it goes to Amazon, Patreon is the only method. There is no kind of like funnel. Sorry, if we go with the sales funnel, Rob. Sorry, he was bitching about this earlier with me. So for me, it's a question of like, I want to reward my readers, and it reduces piracy concerns for me by not having it on Royal Road. And also, it would feel disingenuous to have started the first trilogy on Amazon, to then go and try and like pick up a few other people on Royal Road with a book 4, because it already puts the onus on them. If you want to understand anything that's happening, you have to go and like buy the books, which is an unfair ask for a predominantly free platform. So everything is only on Patreon and Amazon.
But to be clear, you got your start really on Royal Road with Wildcards.
Yes, that's correct.
So he was there and he did do the Royal Road game, and then that went a little sideways. And then you made the comeback with Quest Academy, published it out on Amazon, had Patreon going, and this is where our consistency issues came in.
So, yes, one of the key things is like with Wildcards, it was VR MMORPG, but it was set in a dystopian future.
It's pretty cool.
And one of the key things is that people cared more about the dystopian future than they did about the in-game world. And they were like, if you were to just write a book about a dystopian future, that would be way better than this. And I was like, cool. And then I stopped Wildcards and wrote Quest Academy. And everyone's like, yes, we were correct. this is
It worked.
this is way better than doing a VR game. But yeah, it's that was kind of a big deal for me, but I enjoyed that. But yeah, like so look, Royal Road is absolutely fantastic, and I'll absolutely use Royal Road in the future if I'm going to do any sort of spin-off side series. Daniel asked there, genuine question, any ideas for a new series on the horizon, or is QA the main focus for the time being? So I'll tell you, Daniel, what I tell my publishers. Yes, Quest Academy is my main focus forever. Okay. And I'll just tell everyone else what I tell my friends, be like, I cannot wait to write this other story.
So true.
Like, I have this idea for like Fallen Noble, and it just like it takes the like crafting elements of Quest Academy, but it puts it into like sword forms. So I used to be like a fencing captain years and years ago, and I would absolutely love to write the kind of the creation of sword skills in a sort of like maybe a tower climber revenge sort of story. So it wouldn't be as pacifist Sal as you're used to in Quest Academy. It'd be a little bit more James Sylvester from Wildcards, but I kind of want to go with the fucked off noble from a fallen noble house, trying to reclaim the sort of the family territory and things like that, which is a really, really fun concept that I'm playing around with. But yeah. So like, but Quest Academy is so much fun for me. And like after Quest Academy, the plan has always been to like have them as they graduate and have their guilds, and then have a completely separate series. So that like Quest Academy is almost like the prequel series to the thing I actually wanted to write. So yeah, but it's really, really fun. I'm enjoying it. And I can't wait to see Bastion can fuck right off into deep space. So yeah, it's I'm really, really excited to see which directions it goes. But yeah,
Is Mr. Head actually making a snare or a noose, or what's going on over there?
So
you can't reach Brian with that. You know, it is a virtual now.
No, so 550 cord, which is parachute cord.
Yep.
It's a giant pain in the ass because it gets knotted up really easily. So I'm doing it's like a hoop that does like a quick release. So you just keep spinning it in on itself over and over again. And so if you pack it like a 24-hour bag or a 96-hour bag, something like that, it keeps it from getting knotted up with everything else that you own. It's just, and it's a great
definitely a noose.
I thought it was role playing or something.
Yeah, it's a great way to keep it from getting knotted up with all your other stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So to answer the question about Inahio Montoya, correct. As in, I do absolutely adore The Princess Bride. Anyone that has seen my interviews in the past, they know that is one of my favorite books of all time. But what I'd love to do in the story is like to focus on the creation of the actual skills themselves by going through stances, forms, techniques, movements, the flow, the cadence, everything like that, of how those things are created. And it would be one of those ones with its own system. Like Quest Academy, of people that have read into it and have kind of like figured out, Quest Academy will eventually move towards potentially a system being created by Quest and Sal working on that. So the whole system that Quest has, his Quest system for the guilds, they were always obsessing over the numbers going up and things like that. He was like, it's not really useful for the students, so like let's not bother with it. And it's a buggy mess. But with Sal's intervention and stuff in the future, this is something that can be rolled out to actually track the progression of each individual and not building up on their own power. So it kind of gives that whole vibe so that when they're graduated and stuff, you'll have the systems, you'll have the best gear, you'll have like all of your favorite characters all in like different sort of organizations working together on expeditions through portals and things like that. They're taking out demonic towers or going on dungeon runs. That's the sort of stuff that I want to do. And Daniel, I have no idea. Quest Academy anime when? I have no idea what would be the best medium to like kind of translate. What would be the best adaptation for Quest Academy? Because right now I'm like, I don't see how you would translate all of that stuff into something. So yeah.
You know, it just kind of scares me. If you're going to be doing like a dungeon run, you'd think like, okay, book 1, the first room.
Woo, damn! Oh!
Book 2, the hallway of doom. Well, we're going to craft this thing that actually is going to like support the ceiling, and then we're going to make rails down the. Hey, Sal, could you? Oh, sorry. Anyways, Michael, I kind of feel like I'm the only one beating on Brian here. Okay, remember we had this agreement before you joined.
Yeah, you're right.
As long as it's a different art style, Daniel, I'm on board with One Piece. Because my God, I despise that art style.
Oh man.
What did you do, Michael, for that to be the reaction?
What?
Oh man, just breathless.
Oh no, that was freaking Rob. Whenever he was like, the book 1 in the dungeon, room 1. That one, it struck my funny bone. It hit my funny bone. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
Brian makes it so easy.
Yeah, it's just like it. You know what? This is the price of success. You know, I should apologize for just being so great.
We can think of other reasons to apologize.
No, like I said, I told everybody earlier, like we genuinely really do give Brian a hard time about it. It's like it's probably the only true genuine thing we could give him a hard time about. But like,
there's plenty.
Yeah, it was me, Chatfield, and Nathan, Amy were sitting around the pool and just like we were giving each other, you know, and Brian, we're all sitting around the pool, giving all 4 of us giving each other a hard time. And Brian had said something, and then in unison, without even having to discuss, all turn and we're like, pacing. Your pacing is just the worst. Like, nobody even had to.
Oh man.
Yeah, none of us had to do any pre-discussion about that whatsoever.
So there's some questions popping up.
Okay, in quick fire round. So Jay, am I going to be nicer to Hannah? No. That might be in potentially 5. Okay, maybe in 5, not in 4. The dungeons, how do they work? So what was kind of established so far is that you have like as the portals work, you have demons that are coming over from the other side, from their kind of like realms, and they're coming over to Earth. And what's happening is that they're bringing over like these dungeon hearts, which are like almost like terraforming machines. And what they're doing is that they're burrowing down into the ground and creating these like labyrinthine dungeons that all have a different layer of kind of complexity. You'll see how the towers and dungeons are kind of like factored or seen by the Hunters Bureau, because the Hunters Bureau in book 3, who's the bard? Ogden. Oh, yeah, no, Barry bitches about your character. Your character's Ogden, isn't it, Byron? If it's Ogden, yeah, Barry bitches about him doing like fucking Wonderwall with the guitar when they're trying to camp. So yeah. Anyway, the dungeons are essentially terraformed to purpose by the sort of like, you know, the demons coming over that are at more of like a commander variant. So it is quite interesting. Will I get to voice a demon lord at some point in the series? Yes, you will, Daniel. I may actually name him Daniel or something like that, just so it's like really close to home. And I'm thinking visceral and raspy. It'll be fun. But
yeah.
But you do also have some of the dungeons that have been kind of like taken over by humanity have kind of been like turned into like instanced zones that are farmable for materials and things like that. So they kind of like almost like a stopgap. They're allowing, you know, certain amounts of demons in, and then they're like, you know, okay, have at it, go kill them. So yeah, I think that I have like 30 seconds left. So what I will say is that thank you all so much for coming to join us. Quest Academy is available on Steve, you know what? You would be a leecher, Steve. Within Quest Academy, you'd be a leecher, and Daniel would probably be a commander variant. Just saying, read into that what you will if you read the book.
When you read the book.
That is super mean. I'm so sorry. You know what? Prowler or even Voider. You know, there's a lot going on. But look, thank you all so much for coming to join us. Keep an eye out for Robert Locke, codename Isekai, and please do pick up Wandering Warrior Judge, because it is like, as much as I disliked the story, it is well written. As in, like, you know, so everyone knows that Sal is a bit of a pansy. So, like, when you go to James Holden delivering justice with fucking it's the poor bears. Anyway, read it. It's worth it just for Paul, just for the Paul. You know, the creatures. Like, before Geneva cuts us off, explain to people what Paul is.
Paul, so there's a certain somebody that might or might not harass a lot of authors named Paul Hasseltine. So there's a creature called a Paul that's a one-legged fae that's an asshole that goes around and just kicks people in the butt every time they bend over when you're in the forest and you're not paying attention. And it's called a Paul. And it's named after that Paul. So,
okay. Like, yeah. I know, like, Geneva's going to pull us off eventually, but like, that sounds way worse when I say it out loud. So
a pogo Paul.
Steve, I apologize. I love you. You're like the best demon ever. I will put you in a wonderful character if you continue to fix my jaw. He was like a masseuse in the last life, and like, it was heavenly how he helped me at Dragon Con. But yeah, and wait,
I'm sure that's a story I want details on, actually. I think I'm gonna let that one go to your browser history deletion or something.
No, this is already immortalized forever. People will just have this recorded. It's going to be fine.
True. It's true.
Daniel, I needed to read that book. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, please read my books, Daniel. That'd be nice before you word them. But yeah, we're getting a warning message.
We have to go. Dessert.
Oh no. No.
Thank God,
just like
stop.
Byron, you literally sorry. Amazing. Thank you so much, Steve. Also, Byron, you had seconds left before we left, and you just went with Major BJ. This is how your bard dies. Okay? Like, literally is just going to run onto the battlefield with his guitar overhead, and he will die. And Barry will laugh.
See on Patreon.
And you'll never know if it was a Barry illusion, because that's just his, thing. Also, fun spoilers, Barry's hero name is Assad. So, okay, I guess, Geneva, you're able to withdraw us. I'm not going to say pull us off. You can withdraw us from the stream.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys.